starting with quarterback, our final three here. Dak Prescott, no surprise. Cooper Rush, no surprise. And then, I mean, out of left field, the Trey Lance trade that no one but Jerry Jones himself was aware of before it happened. There is some talk on there. I mean, obviously that happens. You're always wondering what's going on. To me, I think it's an interesting move, and it's a good move because I think Jerry gets to say, look, I just traded a third overall pick for a fourth rounder. So there's a win. Brings in a guy who potentially just needed another setting and needed some a new scenery. Maybe he does come out there and ball out. So I think Jerry just wins in that. And then he also can put a little pressure, whether it comes via media and just social media, the Cowboys Nation. But basically he gets to put this kind of proxy pressure on Prescott, which is not real because I don't really think there is a chance, but it also just says, hey, if this guy balls out, he'll be playing football here. And also it leads to a trade value in the future if he performs in any sort of game this year and then has a good preseason next year. Are you able to trade him for a third round or second round pick? And now you moved up because he's certainly not the future of the Cowboys. I would say that, but I don't hate the move.
I think anytime we are putting together a quarterback room that's not just relying on one quarterback for us.
You need at least one guy with goofy hair.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's that funny meme that's going around where did Jerry Jones think that it was Patrick Mahomes and he just wasn't wearing his glasses?
Yeah.
Like I thought that was pretty funny. But I mean, look, the QB whisperer Kyle Shanahan wasn't able to develop Trey Lance. Maybe it's a change of scenery. I mean, none of us know, and there's so much speculation. I like the move. It just shows that we're thinking that we need to have options just in case. I think on the layers of what we have, it allows us to possibly stash QBs for future trade value or future draft value or capital. Capital, depending on what shakes down this season. If Dak has a great season, nothing. If Dak has not a great season and we pit her out before the divisional, then possibly the Trey Lance thing becomes a little bit more real. I don't think he's not there to be a backup quarterback. I think they brought him in to either help develop him and then trade him off or help develop him to take over the team in 2025.
So this is the only reason San Francisco traded Trey Lance and not Sam Darnold. They had an issue, right? They had a starting quarterback in Brock Purdy that they hope can be successful. Mm-hmm. Then they had these two dudes, Sam Darnold and Trey Lance, where they're like, holy shit, we have kind of a quarterback issue, right? Like we don't need two quality guys that people could be cheering for to take over for our starter. The only reason Sam Darnold didn't get traded instead of Trey Lance, and I don't think it's because Sam Darnold outplayed him in preseason. I think it's because Trey Lance had higher trade value than Sam Darnold.
Absolutely.
The only reason they traded Trey Lance instead of Sam Darnold is because people were willing to trade for Trey Lance. They weren't willing to trade for Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with Sam Darnold's play because everyone's like, oh, well, he couldn't even beat out Sam Darnold in the preseason. No, it has nothing to do with that. San Francisco knew that with Sam Darnold, they have a good enough backup quarterback. Why do you need a third backup quarterback? Why not trade one of them and get a fourth round pick and better your team next year? And I think Trey Lance was that guy. So does it pan out for Dallas? It definitely panned out for San Fran. They wanted to cut ties with them. They ate their losses. They cut ties with them. And now it's to be seen if Dallas ends up getting anything more than a substantial backup, because I don't think he's in town to compete with Dak Prescott at all.
Not this season.
I really don't. I don't think even ever. I don't think he will compete with Dak Prescott. And I think his competition's against Cooper Rush in the next, I'm talking like 3 years. Yeah. I don't think he's taking over for Dak in next year or the year after. I bet you next year they extend Dak.
You think so?
Oh, they should. I mean, obviously, like you said, it depends how the season goes, but I'm all in on Dak this year, man. I really am.
Here. But I mean, to have a position, like if you have the fundamentals and the mechanics, like a guy like Trey Lance, he did go number one. There was something good about
number
him.
Three.
Sorry, number 3 in the first round. Yes.
Yeah.
So he went third overall. There is and he's still young. So getting him behind someone like Dak Prescott, a veteran, Cooper Rush, a veteran, to learn and to grow, would it be bad if we see him take snaps 3 years from now, 2 years from now? We still don't know what's going to happen in the next two seasons. We still don't know what's going to happen.
He's
this
got
season.
So Lance has got 2 years left on his contract. So if you're going to get him in 3 years,
Right.
You're making the decision.
You're making a decision by next season. Yeah, you're making a decision by next season, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, actually, here's a question that came to mind because I think it's all up in the air, but we're all kind of agreeing that like there's no heavy competition here with that move. In fact, Russia's more of a competition at this point, I would say. That being said, would you rather have same trade but get Trey Lance in that third spot, or who's the other guy? Fuck, I forgot his name.
I don't know. Do you mean
Darnold?
drafting or trading?
Trading. Sorry, Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd rather Trey Lance because Trey Lance is that unknown. He's played, a handful of games in the NFL. Sam Darnold, you know what you're getting. So at least with Trey Lance, we still don't really know. Last year, he was suited to be the San Francisco 49ers starter. He got hurt. The year before, same thing. He got hurt. So he's had his developmental issues. I got a little tidbit, though. He is teammates with a guy. He was college teammates with a fan favorite of the room of ours.
Who?
You know who?
Trey Lance?
Yeah, he was a college teammate with one of the guys.
Like
Hunter
offense, defense.
Lepke.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah, they were teammates a couple of years ago.
I like that.
At North Dakota State, I think. I think that's where they were. Something like that.
Hey,
Green.
Sorry, go ahead.
Finish here.
No, Ants was going to say I cut him off. We all cut each other off. But when Ants
Hey,
cut
I'll
off,
never. If someone cuts me off, I'll just let it happen. I'll let you roll. I don't even know what I was saying.
I'm just going to hit some chat comments here for you guys before we move on to the next thing. So, Bocce Eric says everyone making a big deal about Trey because they got nothing else to talk about. He is no threat to Dak.
Proof.
Facts. Right now, anyways, we'll say right now for sure. Yeah. Definitely.
And he also says if you were drunk when you said it, it doesn't count.
Good. I like that. That's words to live by.
Bandwagon Baba says, I think with Dak calling plays last game, they were checking him out for offensive coach.
Yeah, let's get it.
And then Jeremy Nello, I like this take. I think they will try and flip Lance value and hopefully get a first or second round pick for Lance.
That's what AJ was kind of thinking.
Grab him and stash him, develop him if you can show major progress. And you have it, it's not a bad thing. So he has one comment. He goes, they got Trey for the same reason you buy something at Costco you don't need, only because it's 90% off.
I mean, and he's not wrong.
Yeah, and you let it sit until it spoils if you have to. But
yep, exactly. Yeah. But it was such a good deal. And the thing is, the stuff that the guy was drafted for third overall, that stuff hasn't changed. Like all the reasons he got drafted third overall, none of that's changed, right? He just hasn't had a chance to really play.
Exactly. Here's his, and you guys can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, and that includes Chad. But here's kind of his trajectory. He had the one season with San Fran where he was a starting quarterback. The next season, out for an injury. Then Purdy stepped up and took over. So he didn't really lose his spot because of poor play. He lost it because he had an injury, and then the San Francisco felt that Purdy has more of the fundamentals that they're looking for in their offense.
Yeah.
But he's not so far removed from their original idea of what he could be. And then, the injury happened and we've seen that happen before. It's about, is he going to bounce back? And is he going to find a place? I mean, Dallas is if you're going to sit out the rest of your rookie contract in hopes of getting somewhere, I think Dallas is a great place. It's a great team. You got lots of potential that if you get on the field for a couple downs, everyone's going to see it. So you can make the most of your time in Dallas. And I mean, the guy's probably going to end up on another team after the Cowboys anyways. But this is kind of a win-win-win all around, except for, I guess, Will Grier, but he had a fucking excellent week.
I think
he got picked up. So Will Grier picked up by Cincinnati's practice squad. So he's still kicking about, which is sweet. So going into the next thing, so quarterbacks, right? Or sorry, Ad, you got one last thing.
Could that have also been a big reason why Jura picked up a quarterback because of how bad that Seattle game was for our backups?
Probably.
Could that have weighed in on it?
I would. I mean, I think Jerry was just looking at the fucking value, but I think if it would have made more sense to go with the guy who has the smaller, higher
The smaller wiener.
no, that like the more average between
Penis.
his ceiling and his floor, because that Trey Lance has a massive ceiling, but we know that his floor could be fucking terrible, right? You're looking for a guy more like a Cooper Rush, who's okay. He's going to come in here and play this consistency that we know.
The last thing.
Is it?
It isn't.
Don't say it if it's not.
But one of the things that we didn't really talk about here, like how I want to know from your guys' side, how do you feel about Jerry not mentioning anything to Mike McCarthy
Doesn't need to.
Good question.
and not mentioning anything to your quarterback?
Doesn't need to.
You see how
Doesn't need
Jerry
to,
runs his ship.
he doesn't need to ask Dak Prescott about shit. He doesn't realistically. What are you going to say? Hey, do you care if I trade for third overall pick? Like, I think maybe the Mike McCarthy thing is a little bit more interesting, but the Dak Prescott thing, he doesn't need to say shit to Dak, to be honest.
Dak's a player. I would have talked to my coach. I would have even just asked my coach what he thought.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe he did. This is all like what we're hearing. I don't think Mike come out and said,
Oh
hey,
yeah,
I didn't.
Yep. Mike came out, said he said he's not. That's how Jerry and Steven roll. I coach the team. They make the decisions.
Yeah.
Came out and said that, and Jerry came out and said, yeah, they didn't know anything. The reason it started was Jerry Jones. There's video of him saying that he didn't tell anyone.
Okay.
And he doesn't need to, because it's his team. The only thing is, a 4th round pick, you can still get some decent players. But if Jerry's thinking that this guy possibly could be the next great thing, I mean, then pull the trigger, get him, and let the cards lie.
Okay,
right?
sorry. So so this is
Last thing. Okay,
but Boys in the Zone just kind of mentioning something, and I felt like I phrased it wrong to you guys.
Okay.
So Boys in the Zone, EJ Savage, our boy, he goes,
EJ, another guy we got to get on soon.
Yep.
You don't need to ask Dak before the trade, but apparently he didn't even hear it until after the media broke it.
Okay,
So-
that's a little bit shitty then.
Yeah. And then just a couple last
Depends. Was it an Adam Schefter where he gets it before Jerry even knows?
or Ian Rappaport.
Yeah.
Jerry makes the trade and they're already tweeting, or sorry, Xing it. They're already Xing it. On to running back. So we beat this Trey Lance we hadn't talked about it, so we had to just splooge everywhere with it. And
We're going to splooge. This is a splooge-worthy cast, okay? Just clean up after yourself.
Last thing. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Just give it on the count of 3 about the Trey Lance thing. On this.
I'm going to go like this. I'm teetering above.
Ad's always optimistic. I love it.
Yes.
The reason I'm doing this is because it's already done, and it is what it is.
That's